Hey, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and welcome to another TNI live video. So we're back again, second day in a row to go over the latest happenings at Comic-Con. So primarily we're covering everything that pretty much got revealed yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day for Comic-Con. Today is when all of the Hasbro panels will be taking place, starting with G.I. Joe Classified at 11:15 Pacific time. So that will be the first Hasbro panel of the day, followed by Marvel Legends. And then there will be the Star Wars panel, and then the final panel of the day, which will be, I think, if I remember correctly, is at like 5 o'clock Pacific time. So for those of us on the East Coast, it's going to be late, 8 o'clock. But that one, the Transformer panel, is the final Hasbro panel of the day. But like I say, all four Hasbro panels are today, so this is when we're going to get the crux of whatever new stuff Hasbro has planned to show us this weekend. That should be coming pretty much all today. So let's just do a quick roll call before we get into the news. Austin is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Pasiano, got what I wanted for. Well, I'll be honest. It's not like I mean, I've really enjoyed the Invincibles cartoon on Amazon. I've never had read the comic book, so I really my exposure to Invincible is through that cartoon. But I think it's a really good cartoon. I've heard some people say who are, have read all the comics, that it is basically verbatim what happens in the comics. So it does take away somewhat that everything that's going to happen. But for me, again, who's never read the comics, it's all new, and I've really enjoyed it. So I did not collect any of the Diamond Select Invincible figures. But I probably will pick up these new ones from Jada Toys. So, and we're going to get into all of that here in just a few minutes. But so I can't say like I was like dying for Invincible figures. I thought it was a good possibility, because Jada had announced the license, not specifically saying they were doing action figures, but that they were going to be doing Invincible products. And then when the news came out after that, Diamond Select Toys was shutting down from the Diamond distributor bankruptcy and all that, then I thought the chances became quite good that Jada Toys might be doing that license, which in fact is the case, as we learned yesterday. Automatom is in the house. El Grillo, what is up? Good morning to you. Elio's in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Again, going on early today. Not the usual 3 p.m. time today because by 3 p.m. I'm going to be knee deep in Comic-Con coverage. The advantage of being on the East Coast is I can do things like this before we really, start getting into the Comic-Con coverage of the day. So the downside is when it's 5 o'clock there and the final panels and stuff are going, it's like 8, 9, 10 o'clock here. So it makes for a long day. Starscreamer liking the Player 2 Jada Street Fighter Cammy they revealed. You guys are jumping ahead on me, but hopefully you guys are keeping up to date. Obviously, I want to bring these recaps to you so we can share, my thoughts and listen to your guys' comments. But hopefully you guys are keeping up to date with the news. Obviously, my websites aren't the only place that are covering the show, but hopefully that's where you're primarily going to get your information. And I do, just to pat myself a little bit on the back, besides just giving you images and everything, I do think, we provide you the most in-depth coverage. I tell you what to expect, things like that. So hopefully you guys are digging that. Automatom says Mondo's booth is insane. Saw Final Slash looking incredible. As far as like a live stream, I don't, unless somebody live streamed it, and I have not checked. I'm not aware of anyone who live streamed it, but like Mondo themselves, I don't think it's going to put it up. Just the slides and the coverage. So, if you go to TNI, we covered everything that they announced and everything. But as far as like watching the panel yourself, you can scan YouTube, see, do a search for Mondo panel, see if anybody live streamed it or something. But I don't think so. Well, I hope you're not going to Toy Shiz for coverage. We had images the moment they went up. That's what the website's for. Plus, not just images. You get there's 50 people posting images on social media, but you get the information on like websites like Toy News International, Marvelous News, that thing. So hopefully that's where you're going to get your information. Not to slant any of those social media guys, but the place to go to get news on this stuff, because it's not just about the pictures, it's about the information, which is also why I'm here to share that information with you guys. But yeah, I mean, again, not slanting Toy Shiz, but we had images up the moment that they, went up on the screen. We had a guy there taking the pictures, and they went up on the site immediately. So, and we've been doing this far longer than any of those social media guys. So again, we're the experts when it comes to this kind of thing. All right, so let's see. What's new on soft vinyl? Galactus from Mondo. Yeah, we'll get into all of that. Though you guys, like, to me, I'm not a big soft vinyl guy, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. For me, like Mondo, it's all about the 2000X Masters of the Universe figures. They had some cool 1/6 scale figures. They showed off a prototype for their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure. I believe it was Shredder they showed a slide for as well. But Starscreamer, you got it, man. Toy News International all the way. What new Marvel Legends? Everett, you're here early for that. Marvel Legends panel is later today, so come back tomorrow, or go to Marvelous News later this afternoon, or come back tomorrow, and we'll talk about that. Though I will tell you, again, X-Men 97 wave, Magic the Gathering figures, Spider-Man figures, those will definitely be revealed today. Though I'm sure there will be more, but those will be the two things that will be. I There is a Hasbro pre-order today that is supposed to go live at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I don't have specific information. I think, and this is mostly just purely a guess, it will end up being those Spider-Man Magic the Gathering figures, because I I know those should be going up for pre-order soon, based on information I've seen. Um, it'll be The pre-order date is weird because it's very late, but it will be after the panels, so it could be anything revealed at any of the panels today. But I'm thinking good chance it might be those Spider-Man Magic figures. Now, Dan Young only mentioned pre-orders on Marvel Legends yesterday, which was that Spider-Man mask that I told you about, and then Saturday, which will be the X-Men 97 wave. But it's possible, he just didn't mention that because, for whatever reason. But we'll have to wait and see what today's Hasbro pre-order is. But I'm just throwing out a guess, and I'm thinking it might be the Magic Spider-Man figures. Everett, I don't expect any additional Marvel versus Capcom stuff. That was kind of their summer program. Now, they might, if it's successful, if they got good sales from the stuff that went up this year, they might plan something for next year, but that's not something I would expect them to announce today. So, I mean, I won't say 100%, but would not expect any additional Marvel versus Capcom offerings from Hasbro this year. All right, well, let's get into all the news here. So let's jump over to our news screen. Let's start off. So, just real quick, since we've been talking Marvel Legends, Going up for pre-order basically now. If you're into the McFarlane, statues, that Human Torch and Silver Surfer figures or statues are now available. These are 1/6 scale, but these literally just went up for pre-order minutes ago at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Dan Hu has gotten himself the San Diego Comic Con exclusive 3-pack. Only thing I wanted to point out here is I gotta be honest, I am not digging this Rogue face sculpt. I primarily want this set for the Shanna figure anyway. But that head sculpt on Rogue is definitely looking a little bit off to me. But if you want to check out a full review of that set, check out Dan Hu's reviews website. Also, shipping now. I got the shipping notice yesterday for that Amazon exclusive Crossbones Madam mask 2-pack. So if you pre-ordered it, you've probably gotten a shipping notice. If you didn't and you still want it, it is available and should be shipping to you soon. So, but that is Amazon is shipping that out now to folks. Also, you can check out if you want to see the Shumagorath figure in action. Check out a walkthrough video from yesterday's breakfast from Pixel Man. MCU Collector, I think, also has some pretty good videos up from that event. And I wanted to share late yesterday, Hasbro put out the first Magic figure that they revealed the day before, which we talked about yesterday, the Agent Anti-Venom figure. But the day before, we only saw in packaging, and now they have it out of the packaging. And I will be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea why the figure has blue guns, but it does. Again, this is the first figure that they've revealed for the Spider-Man Marvel Legends Magic the Gathering Spider-Man card set crossover. Each figure will come with a Magic card. The other 3 figures, there's 4 figures in the first wave. The other 3 figures we will get a look at today during the panel, which, if my information was correct and things hadn't changed, it'll be another Spider-Man. I don't know which one. I don't know if it'll be a red and blue. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like the Maximum Spider-Man, just without all the accessories, but we'll have to wait and see. And then Mary Jane as Iron Spider and Man-Wolf are the other 3 figures. So again, we should get our looks at those. And even though we've talked about this multiple times, just in case you're new and you missed it, again, the other thing I can tell you that will get revealed today is the X-Men 97 wave. So we've seen the More figure official images leaked out the other day before Comic-Con even started, thanks to Hasbro Pulse UK. And then they had it on display at the breakfast yesterday. But I just want to get down to my post. Move my keyboard over here. There's been so much news that. Oops. So the wave, X-Men 97 wave, last information I saw. So the Morph, again, has already been officially revealed. Some version of Cable, as I've said before, I don't know what outfit I just have names. I haven't seen the figures themselves. These images are just for reference that you see here. So I don't know exactly how the figures will look or what outfits. Some of the figures that have worn multiple outfits in the X-Men 97 series, I don't know which outfits they will be featured in. But Cable, Emma Frost, Jubilee, Roberto DaCosta, sorry, and Logan in casual gear are the figures that should be in this wave. And again, this wave is slated to go up for pre-order on Saturday. So we'll get the reveals today, and then the pre-orders will happen tomorrow. And they should be available everywhere. So I don't think you'll have a problem getting any of the figures that you want. Not at Comic-Con, but thanks to Isaac Wong, these are on display at an overseas convention. But for you Mafex fans with Marvel, you can see that we are getting a number of new figures here. New Venom, new Venom. Is that Venom or Carnage? I guess that's Venom. And Maverick. So those were revealed, unpainted prototypes, of course. And there's some DC stuff from this event that I'm going to go over in just a minute. Mediacom had some stuff, but nothing we really hadn't seen on that front. Sentinel with their reveals. So Miles G. Morales, another Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Punk. So again, these are all on this. This is not Comic-Con, but this is another event taking place overseas the same weekend as Comic-Con. So a lot going on. Mondo. So let's talk Mondo Marvel. So at the panel that we were just talking about a little bit earlier, they announced for the, I guess this is for the Spider. I don't know if this is X-Men or Spider-Man. I guess it doesn't matter, but basically a cartoonish version of Doctor Doom in 1/6 scale. So, Doom has been in X-Men 97. He made a brief appearance there. So I think that's what this is for. But he was also in the Spider-Man animated series. So like I said, they could throw it under either. But again, a cartoonish 1/6 scale Doom figure, Doctor Doom figure, is in the works. So we got a digital render X-Men Beast with the lab coat. So the coat is removable. Well, the main coat is, the arms are switchable. So, but basically getting the lab coat, a backpack that he wore in one of the episodes. So, and some other trinkets from the cartoon. Lizard, this is definitely Spider-Man. So Lizard is coming. These are all 1/6 scale figures, so 12-inch figures, some pins, some artwork, but those were the three new announced figures from Mondo in the 1/6 scale coming. Those were announced at the panel yesterday. All right, so that's all I have for you on the Star Wars or on the Marvel front today. But again, we'll have a lot more to talk about, I think, tomorrow after today's Marvel Legend panel. Not much on the Star Wars front. So yesterday we talked about some of the stuff that was shown off at the breakfast that Hasbro had, primarily the Pythona G.I. Joe classified figure, and I told you then that was going to be offered at New York Comic Con, MCM London, and then at a later time on Hasbro Pulse. Pretty much everything new that they showed yesterday at that breakfast falls under that same category. So the Spirit 3-pack, which is for the vintage collection, that's going to be same thing, same conventions. $49.99 is the price on that. I also have the price on the Pythona, which is $40. I didn't have price yesterday, but it's $40. This Black Series 2-pack with Mace Windu and Palpatine. That's also, again, going to be, this is basically a Con Pulse exclusive. So after the breakfast, they released the official images and everything. And that one, that set's going to cost you $60. Also, we talked about this briefly yesterday, but during the Star Wars panel, it is seemingly like they're going to announce a new vintage collection. A new vintage collection, HasLab. So they've got a they've got my mind's going blank. They've got a case ready for it, And yesterday they put sand, what looks like sand in it. So I guess that's supposed to be a clue. I'm thinking it's going to be a sand crawler, a G.I. Joe HasLab vintage collection sand crawler, based on the sand that they threw in there. I don't think, I don't think they just randomly put sand in the case that the HasLab's going to have. So that's my best guess. Unfortunately, it means it's likely not going to be a Death Star. So for me personally, only HasLab I would be interested in for vintage collection would be a Death Star playset. So, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. I could even maybe see them doing a HasLab version of one of Jabba's skiffs. You remember the first HasLab was Jabba's sail barge. So they could maybe do an elaborate skiff to go along with that sail barge. Those are my two best guess, but again, we should find out this afternoon. And I'm guessing the campaign will launch at the same time that they announce it. So that means that Hasbro will have two HasLabs going at the same time because the G.I. Joe Classified Snowcat is still going. When I checked earlier this morning, we were still just under 800 to go before getting to the 8,000. I don't think it's going to rate. I think it'll get to the 8,000 before the campaign ends, but I don't think it's going to get to the 8,000 this weekend. So just keep that in mind. Real quick, these were late going up for CollectorCon, but these were supposed to go up at 10, but they weren't available. Are they? No, still not available. I don't know why they posted these. The McFarlane stuff for CollectorCon. So this one is. The Demon isn't. I think the Demon is not available because I think last week when they first put it on the website, they had it available for sale. And I think it sold out. So I think it sold out well before CollectorCon even began. But this one is available if you want it. The Blacklight edition of Lockup from the Batman animated series. This 3-inch DC Page Puncher set is also available now. The gold patina, whatever you call it, Wonder Woman is available. So those they didn't go up at 10, so Walmart was late listing them. But and then getting back to the Mafex stuff on the DC side, so Mafex Doom versus Superman from the famous comic A Death of Superman. Also, Bruce Wayne is getting a figure. Dark Knight Batman, transforming Clark Kent to Superman figure. Lobo is getting the Mafex treatment. Is that Wonder Woman, I guess? Or no, what is that? It says Superman. I can't read the full tag and it's unpainted, so it looks like a Wonder Woman-ish type figure, but I'm not sure on that one. Batgirl, another Superman. Looks like a Batmobile. Is that a Batmobile that he's standing on? I'm not sure. So these are not my images. Again, thanks to Isaac Wong. So on this one, all I can share with you is just the images. This is, again, from that overseas event. But definitely looks interesting. And definitely curious to know what. I guess that's a dire. You can see it here in the corner. So I think it's not a Batmobile. It's a statue or something. So look. I swear it looked like a Batmobile. From here, it looks like a Batmobile, but it's not. It's just a. Oh yeah, I can see it now. So eagle. It's an eagle-like statue. So, but those are all coming to the Mafex line. If you're a Conan fan, we have got from Iman a new Conan the Barbarian 7-inch figure. This is not yet gone up for pre-order, but pretty nicely detailed, it looks like. Yeah, he does some pretty good stuff. So pre-order should be coming soon on that one. Super7, who, as far as I can tell, has no real new product on hand at San Diego Comic-Con. They don't even have a booth this year at the actual convention. They have their pop-up store where they're focused on Godzilla, but they're not really showing off anything new this year. I don't know if that's not necessarily a good sign for the company or what, but just odd that you're going to attend Comic-Con but not show off really anything new. Godzilla 89 comic book figure, though, just went up on Target's website. So if you want that, this is an ultimate style figure. It's available. I think it's still available. Yes. Or is this a comp? That's too cheap for an ultimate figure. What size is this figure? That's a 5-inch figure. Okay. I don't. It's not a reaction figure. I don't know what this figure is being classified as, but $35 on Target if you want it. A lot of WWE reveals yesterday. I'm not going to go over every single thing. But for you Wyatt 6 fans, we've got a new 3-pack. RVD, this is part of the WWE Legends line. So a lot of these figures were out at the booth on preview night. We had those pictures. Again, these are the official images. There's 181 of them, so I'm not going to go through all of them. Also going up at CollectorCon for you Power Ranger fans, that Playmates Toys Reignition 6-pack. So that was kind of a surprise addition to Walmart CollectorCon. Still available, $57.97. So if you're thinking about getting those, that's about as close as you're going to get to collector figures with the new Playmates Power Ranger line. Or lines, I should say. Going back to wrestling, available for pre-order on Target's website is that Piper's Pit 3-pack. We saw this on preview night. So recreating, the famous Piper's Pit setup that he used to do back in the day. Here's an interesting little bit. Even though these have not been made available here in the United States yet, they have at least been officially announced. The Batman Rebirth Batmobile was announced like 2 months ago in one of the McFarlane toy shows. Maybe it was last month, actually. And then that 2022 movie Batmobile was officially announced Wednesday during the San Diego Comic-Con media event. The 2022 Batmobile here in the United States will be offered as a McFarlane store exclusive. We talked about this yesterday, but just to reiterate, McFarlane store exclusive. Should be going up for pre-order soon. I think it's going to cost $99, and no figure is included with that one. As far as the Rebirth Batman, that should be a general release, I think, but I have no idea when that's going to go up for pre-order. So, but they're already, both of them are already starting to hit overseas. For you Lego fans, we've got a new Batman Arkham Asylum set that has gone up for pre-order at Lego.com. Right now, that's the only place to get it. $299, $300. But pretty cool set. A lot of minifigures in this set. Some cool little areas. I like this one with the prison with Joker in it. You got a little. I'm assuming that's Clayface on the guy's computer screen. Harley's, psychiatry room employee of the month. So it's kind of a cool little set. Has an ambulance. So not cheap, $300. Eventually it'll be available at places like Amazon, but right now Lego.com is the place to pre-order. So. Also going up for pre-order today. So one of the things announced this weekend were new LGN style figures, which I think are meant to compete with the major bendy figures, and who are, those guys are going to be doing AEW figures. But, these are, very basic figures, no articulation. Some people call these dog toy figures. But the first, and it looks like for these WWE ones, they're going to be exclusive to Target, and Target has the first wave up now. Now, I will tell you that originally Hulk Hogan was slated for this wave, but looks like they held him back. Yesterday, as we briefly talked about, Hulk Hogan passed away. May he rest in peace. And I can't say for sure, but the going thought seems to be that they're holding back on Hogan products until things with his estate and everything get cleared. So, but there is one of these Hulk Hogan LGN figures that should be in the works. Logan Paul. I don't know why we're getting Logan Paul, but again, those are in keeping with the old original, LJN figures. For you Mass fans, they had a panel yesterday. They gave us a sneak peek at Wave 2. So the Jackhammer and the Hurricane are slated for Wave 2. Also, black and gold versions of the stuff that they're releasing in Wave 1. So you may recall they already, for the semi, they had this available, and these are all going to be available on the Loyal Subjects. So the Thunderhawk and the other three that they're doing black and gold versions of will go up on the Loyal Subject website on August 5th. So the motorcycle, the plane, and the car getting that treatment. They also announced another round of gem dolls. These are really dolls, not figures. Basically doing, they've already done gem, and they announced that they're doing gem's remaining band members as well. So those were the reveals from the Loyal Subjects. Nacelle Company had a Star Trek panel yesterday announcing the names for Wave 3 and 4. So none of these have been released yet, but they're already giving us the names for Wave 4. I will tell you with Wave 3, it looks like that they maybe finally got the memo that they should really start doing regular characters. So we're getting a whole wave, essentially, of the original series crew: Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Sulu, Chekhov, Scotty, Nurse Chapel, and Yeoman Rand, and then some mysterious 2-pack that they have not yet announced. Now, these figures stand about 7 inches. Their list is 1/12 scale, but they stand about 7 inches tall. We've seen figures of Wave 1 and 2. They also, let me go on and give you the names for Wave 4. So we've got Captain Sisko for Wave 4 in the what I call movie outfits. Cisco was never in a movie, but these outfits that they started wearing in the later seasons started with Star Trek First Contact with Picard and crew, and then they started using them in the TV shows at the time as well. So again, I call it a movie outfit, but Captain Sisko. We are getting a Robin Curtis version of Lieutenant Savick from Star Trek 3, also brief appearance in Star Trek 4. It would have been cooler, I think, if they had given us Christy Alley Savick from Star Trek 2, but it's possible there could be some issues with rights on that character, or doing a figure of that late actress, Christy Alley. Another strange one, Dr. Beverly Crusher from one of the episodes, Star Trek episodes, so wearing more like civilian type gear. Commander Data and one of those seafaring outfits that they wore on the holodeck in the Star Trek Generations movie. David Marcus we are getting from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, so Kirk's son. Captain Picard without his blue outer jacket on, with just the red shirt, it looks like, when they were fighting the Borg in First Contact. He's got the phaser rifle in his hand, and he knocks those plastic little Enterprise statues that are behind him in his ready room down because he's pissed. John Harriman, who's the captain of the Enterprise B that we saw briefly at the beginning of Star Trek Generations. Only time we've ever seen Enterprise B. We don't really know whatever happened to that Enterprise. Tom Paris, another odd one. Tom Paris on his Captain Proton outfit, something that he wore in the holodeck. Pavel Chekhov, another weird one, wearing civilian clothes in Star Trek 4 when they were trying to sneak onto the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier to steal some nuclear protons to re-energize their dilithium crystals. And then finally, Hoshi Sato from Enterprise, though based on the outfit that she wore in the Mirror Darkly episode. So essentially a mirror universe version of that character. So again, Wave 4 kind of takes us back. I mean, we do have a semi-regular Captain Sisko in this wave. And Savik's, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm a little annoyed. Okay, you're going to give us all the original crew and the original outfits, but yet then you're giving us a lot of the crew in the Star Trek 2 and on outfit. So, other characters like Savick and Scotty's nephew from Star Trek 2, which is in Wave 1. We're getting those outfits with other characters, but then you're giving us the original series actual crew members in the original series outfit. So it's annoying to me that they jump around. I'd rather we get Star Trek 2 and on outfits for the original series is my favorite outfits, uniforms. So I would rather see figures. I'd rather see these guys in those outfits anyway, to go along with something like Savick. The Savick would be much more appealing if I knew we were getting all of the other crew members in these outfits. I still have my original Art Asylum ones, Art Asylum / Diamond Select toy ones of the cast or the crew in these outfits, but I'd rather get new updated versions of these figures if I'm going to actually get into this line. Right now, I'm not until I see they start doing versions that I'm interested in. Again, Harriman as well, so. And then they showed us these are actually on display at their booth, but we got these stills as well of Janeway from Wave 2 and Nog, again wearing one of the in the later seasons after he got through Starfleet Academy. This actor unfortunately has also passed away, but Nog from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that's your latest update on Star Trek figures. And I really want to collect these things, but right now, Nacelle is just way too off the wall with their character selections, and I don't have a lot of faith that this line's going to have a lot of longevity. So I'm not going to invest in it unless I see that they really start to do versions of characters that I want. And I'm not really that interested in some of these guys wearing holodeck outfits or civilian clothes or whatever else. Okay, so the big news yesterday came from Jada Toys, as we started off talking about here. So the big announcement was them doing 1/12 scale Invincible figures based on the cartoon series. Now, I've seen a lot of people questioning the first wave, the character selection in the first wave. So we've got Invincible wearing his less known, but the one he wearing in the recent season, the blue and black outfit. So all of these characters actually were, if you watch the last season of Invincible on Amazon, all three of these characters were portrayed fairly heavily in the series. So I don't know if there's any connection with that. Probably not. But again, I've seen some people like, why are they starting off with these? But Kid, Omni-Man, and Conquest. So those are your first. These are the first wave of Invincible figures. So close up of the Invincible. And they look pretty good. Like I say, I did not collect the Diamond Select toy ones, but I've got to imagine that the articulation on these is going to be much better. These are some new Cyberverse figures that they announced. Or Cyberpunk, I'm sorry, not Cyberverse. Scooby-Doo, we got a new Scooby-Doo reveal. So, Spooky Space Kook. It was the new reveal at the panel. So if you're collecting the Scooby-Doo stuff, you're getting a new Ryu figure for their Street Fighter line. So version 2.0, they're calling it. And then the Cammy, the Deluxe Player 2 Cammy. So there's a close-up look at Invincible again. For you Mega Man fans, we're getting Rush. So the dog, that's an interesting character choice. But those were your big Jada toy reveals out of the panel yesterday. Now, I don't know when the Invincible figures, they haven't given a date on when they're going to go up for pre-order or anything like that. Hopefully soon. I love the Jada toy stuff. I've been loving their Street Fighter figures. I'm not really into Mega Man, so I haven't been collecting those. But I really have enjoyed their Street Fighter figures. But I don't. The one downside to Jada toys is they're really slow. They take forever to get stuff out. So, not that they're unique in that. There are a lot of companies that are kind of like that. But that's really, to me, the one downside to Jada toys. But let's see. Going back to those LGN figures, this is a preview of Wave 2. So Jesse the Body Ventura, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ultimate Warrior, and King Kong Bundy. God. AEW Jazzware figures, some stills we got reveals of yesterday. Mercedes Mo, I think that's how you say her name. Ric Flair. Not really familiar with this wrestler. I don't really watch AEW. Well, we got some new. Again, these are from Jazzwares for AEW. Juice Robinson, Roderick Strong, John Moxley. This is Series 12 for Unmatched Collection. What was that? Looks like he's wearing some kind of Ghostbuster. I think that's Matt Cardona. Looks like he's wearing some kind of Ghostbuster-esque shirt. Just a second, I got some text coming through, so I just want to make sure it's nothing important. All right. One of the problems when there's so much news coming out at one time, stories get buried on the main page, so I have to scroll down. Real quick on NECA Toy Front, some new turtle figures went up on the NECA store website. So all three of these: the Ultimate Body Count Casey Jones, the Karai, and the Lost Years Nightcrawler or Night Watcher. So. And I got a little bit more news. There was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle panel yesterday, which basically revealed products from several different companies doing turtle products. So this includes Super7, NECA, McFarlane Toys, Mondo, and Playmates toys. So from NECA, they revealed a new Turtle 4-pack that is Turtles from the Fortnite game. That's $150. They announced Wave 12, or the second wave of their 2012 figures. Master Splinter, Casey Jones were the two, and Slash. The Master Splinter and Casey will be $36. The Slash will be $50. On the Playmate toy front, they announced Last Ronin classic assortment. So the Last Ronin and Raphael, those will be $20.99. So those are their collector versions. Amazon classic foot cruiser, we'd seen that before. In fact, I think that was available this week on Amazon. Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sewer sweeper vehicle. That should be $20.99, not $2.99. Sorry for that typo. Mutanimals classic assortment: Anthrax, Worm, Usagi Jumbo, Chrome Dome. I'll show you the stills here in just a second. I just want to read down everything. Scale Tail, those are $11.99 each. And then they announced Turtle Godzilla crossover. So everybody crosses over with Godzilla these days. So Raphael as Rodan, Leonardo as Godzilla, and Michelangelo as King Ghidorah. Those are $15.99 each. For Mondo, they showed stills for the Shredder and the Leonardo. The Leonardo, they had an unpainted prototype out at the booth, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Leatherhead soft vinyl figure. For Super 7, they did announce Wave 14 of Ultimates, which will be more 2003 based Turtles. So the characters Hun, Raphael, and motorcycle gear, and April O'Neil, $65 each. And then also to go with the Raphael, sold separately, will be the Ultimate Shell Cycle, which is going to cost you $105. And both that wave and the cycle are supposed to be released. They said release. I don't know if they meant actual release or pre-order. Probably, I mean, that's far away. So March 2026 is when I guess they're supposed to be released. I take any kind of release date like that with a grain of salt, but that's what they listed at the panel. And then finally, for McFarlane Toys, they just showed off those 4 figures that they had at the event we talked about yesterday. The DC page, or not, I always want to say DC, the Turtle Page Punchers, Wave 1, Leonardo, Donatello, Foot Soldier, and Shredder. And if you hear a noise in the background, it's a vacuum cleaner going on upstairs, so I do apologize if you're hearing that. And release date on the Page Punchers is supposed to be October. No price yet given on those. That's the McFarlane figures. There's a slide of the Leatherhead soft vinyl figure. There's a slide. Again, they have, we'll get to the unpainted prototype that's on display at the Mondo booth for that one. Shredder, a 1/6 scale Shredder. That's a digital render for that one that they released. And there's a look of the NECA Wave 3 Master. These are digital renders, but Master Splinter, Casey Jones, and Slash. That's your Fortnite 4-pack that's exclusive to Walmart. So if you're into Fortnite, I guess you might want to check these out. $150 on that one. There's unpainted prototypes of those. They may end up putting those out in their booth at some point this weekend. There's the Playmates Toys Last Ronin figures. So again, that's kind of their collector versions. The classic foot cruiser, we've seen that before. The sewer spewer, I think we've seen that one before too. The classic assortment, which again we've seen. And then the Godzilla crossover figure. So, and those are Target store exclusives. Mondo also released official images of their 1/6 scale She-Ra and Swiftwind. This is something we have seen before, but now we have the official images. This is also on display at their booth, but you can take all the parts off and just have the regular horse version. Comes with the minifigures, a new updated She-Ra. These are sold separately, but I'm sure that I think they're going to offer it as a set as well. But if you just like want the new She-Ra, you can get that without the horse. And I don't have any pricing information on this, so I'm sure it's not going to be cheap. Mattel at their booth has some props from the upcoming new movie on display. So Power Sword and Skeletor staff. So this is how they'll look in the new live action movie. Also, I want to let you know, I said yesterday that I didn't think Mattel was having a Masters of the Universe panel. It turns out they are having one. It is at their booth, so it's not like a full-fledged panel. I think they did that last year too. Unfortunately, though, it is at the same time as the Hasbro Marvel Legend panel. So I don't have anybody who... I'm hoping maybe somebody like Pixel Dan will cover it, but... and I don't know what they'll show or what have you, but hopefully I'll be able to get that information to you. But it was not great timing on Mattel's part to have it at the same time as the Marvel Legend panel. So, because everybody wants to go to the Marvel Legend panel, not the He-Man panel. This one, I'm excited. I'm personally excited for this one. Battlestar Galactica, classic Battlestar Galactica. Figures and vehicle coming from Factory Entertainment. Now, I am not, their Factory Entertainment's not really known for making action figures. So I have no idea what the quality of these are going to be, but they look pretty good. Now, again, these are 3.75 inch figures, so they are smaller, but it makes sense if they're doing vehicles. If they weren't doing vehicles, I'd be like, man, these need to be 6-inch figures. But they're doing vehicles, so I get doing the smaller scale. So the Viper, and then the figures that they've shown, a regular Cylon, a gold Cylon. That's a 12-inch figure. I'll come back to that in a minute. That's also 12-inch. So they're doing 1/6 scale figures as well. So Starbuck from the original series, Dirk Benedek, but then we've got Adama from the newer sci-fi remake series. So there's a mix of those. They also have classic Apollo in the 12-inch scale as well. And those look really good. I mean, I don't really do 12-inch, but those do look really good. And they're doing some other properties as well in 12-inch. And here's a close-up of the Viper. You can see a figure inside of it. I don't know what the prices of these are going to be, but they're probably going to be on the more expensive side. There's a look at the Apollo, the 3.25-inch Apollo figure. And I love how they have blasters, they have working holsters, and they have their Viper helmet. So it'd be cool if they made the Viper helmets light up. Boomer and Starbuck are the other two Galactica figures, and then you get the gold Cylon along with the silver Cylon. So no Baltar yet, what's his name? Lucifer. No Lucifer yet. But hopefully they do like Baltar and Lucifer. Maybe Adama. Though I wonder if there's any issues doing figures based on Lauren Green, the late Lauren Green. But it would be cool if they did figures of those as well. But I'm really excited for these. I really I love classic Battlestar. I mean, the remake series was okay, but in fact, I rewatched the whole Battlestar Galactica original series just a couple of weeks ago. Battlestar Galactica 1980 really sucked, but the original Battlestar Galactica was good. When we get more details, like when these will be available, where these will be available, what the price of these will be, I'll let you guys know for anyone interested. But again, for me, a good classic Battlestar Galactica action figure line that's not 12-inch is definitely interests me. Oh, looks like we just got the official images for those Godzilla turtle crossover figures. So again, this will be available at Target, but I don't. These will be available at Target, but I don't know exactly when. Let's get down to. So for the just regular Mondo panel, they announced for the 2000X112 scale line a new Merman figure. So that one's coming. That's the 1/6 scale Leonardo. The Superman that's in the booth. We talked about that one yesterday. The 1/6 scale from the Superman animated series. Gargoyles. They're going to be doing Gargoyles 1/6 scale figures. So those suckers are going to be massive. So if you're a big Gargoyles fan, it's probably exciting news. Though good luck on finding a place to keep them. I mean, I'm just thinking about the NECA figures and how top heavy those things tend to be. A 1/6 scale is going to be crazy. Batgirl from the Batman, the animated series, again, 1/6 scale. The Shredder. They announced they're doing Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy. For 1/6 scale Masters of the Universe, they're doing Triclops. Jason from the new Jason movie, they're going to be doing stuff. There's a render for the She-Ra that we talked about already. Robin was one of their con exclusives. King of the Hill, this is another interesting one. I don't know what scale these are going to be in. 1/6 probably, but I'm not sure. There's a look at yeah. For Real Ghostbusters, they had announced this one. I think it was at New York Comic Con last year, but now we're getting a still render, but Janine is coming to their Real Ghostbusters line. So a look at all the accessories. It looks like they're going to include her desk. I guess instead of like a monster, they're including her desk chair, alternate lower body so she can sit down, Slimer. So that will be coming in their Real Ghostbuster line, the vinyl leather head. Goofy movie figures, those are coming. I don't even really know what this is, but another license that they announced. So some pretty good stuff from Mondo. Real quick, going back to wrestling. These were revealed in the panel. So Stephanie Vacour has probably become one of my favorite wrestlers. So I'm glad to see they're doing a figure of her, Io Sky, Demolition. Again, I'm not going to go over everything. Another funny one that stood out to me, let me see if I can find the slide. They didn't really show the figure. CM Punk and his dog are getting a figure. They do so many wrestling figures. I don't really collect wrestling figures, but God, I wouldn't be able to keep up with all of them. And this is just WWE. That didn't even count like AEW and stuff. If you want to look at these in more detail, just go over to TNI. They may not, because these are the official images that Mattel released to us after the panel. But there was an image they showed. It's a recent segment where CM Punk basically came out dressed like John Cena. This was before their big match here at the last pay-per-view. But the CM Punk for life, it's going to be a made-to-pre-order figure on Mattel Creations. But if you're a CM Punk fan, it was kind of a funny segment that they did. CM Punk basically making fun of John Cena. So I thought that was interesting. I think we talked about that, but let me. I just wanted to jump over here. Yeah, so we talked about most of these yesterday, but just I didn't have these in the gallery yesterday. So this is the 1/6 scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure that they're doing. So looks really nice. Again, probably not going to be cheap, but and I'm glad I don't collect 12-inch figures because I'd probably go broke on Mondo. Also put out. I don't think we talked about. We mentioned the Jitara, but Robo Bear will come with Jitara. This again is a 12-inch figure. We talked about all these others. I don't know if they're going to put the Janine figure out, like the actual figure out in their booth this weekend or not. If they do, we'll have it up. Um, is this? All right, so this is literally just got released. So last month during Target Geek Out, we saw some of those Jax Sonic DC mashup figures. But for the first time here, we're seeing their regular Superman and Batman figures. So um, we saw what was it, Dark Side during the Geek Out event, but so looks like we're getting more regular DC characters in this line. If that's something that interests you, so I don't have a lot of I'm just seeing this for the first time, so. All right, so that pretty much, I think, brings us up to date on all the latest happenings. I think we covered pretty much everything. Uh, Apparently making Steve Areno nauseous scrolling. Sorry about that. Navinart, there is a McFarlane panel today. I don't know if they're going to show anything that we haven't already seen. They did seem to indicate that if you watch their McFarlane toy show on Wednesday. I think they did mention that they might have like an additional reveal during their panel. I'm not expecting much that we haven't already seen, but yes, there is a McFarlane panel this afternoon. So if there's anything new revealed from that, we should have coverage of that up on the site. Storm Collectibles is 10 times slower than Jada. That is true. As I said, Jada is not the only toy company out there that takes a really long time to get stuff out. I'm just pointing out that if I had to fault Jada for anything, it is that it is a very slow process to get things. But that has somewhat become par for the course. Steve Reno is getting Chapel and Rand to go with his Art Asylum figures for Star Trek. Automatom is excited for the Mondo 1/6 scale stuff from for Turtles. Zim, I no word yet on a Cylon Raider, but if they're going to give us a Colonial Viper for Battlestar Galactica, I would really hope that a Cylon Viper, especially since we've got two Cylons. Well, the gold Cylons never flew in the in the in the Raiders, but I guess you would have to get three of the Cylons. I don't I don't even I forget what company it was back in the day that made Battlestar Galactica toys. You know, talking about in the 70s. I don't even remember what company it was, but I do remember having the Cylon Raider vehicle, and the figures were like really tiny to fit in those vehicles. But and I think a friend of mine had the Viper, and you could launch it. It had like a tube, you know, in the series, like they go really fast through the tube, and I think the toy basically mimicked that with like a rubber band thing where you could shoot the Viper out with a rubber band. Again, I don't put, especially these days, I don't put a lot of stock in any release dates that any of these companies give us, but yeah, I believe the first wave is supposed to be out by the end of this year. Mr. All Mine. Yeah, again, going on early today because I'm going to be swamped with Comic Con coverage here pretty soon. So we got about an hour and 15 minutes until the G.I. Joe panel starts. So, and I'll be back tomorrow again, probably earlier than you. First of all, it's a Saturday. I don't usually do Saturday streams, but I should be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about everything that Hasbro reveals today. Again, that's the big crux of news today is Hasbro. Maybe a couple of McFarlane reveals, maybe something for Masters of the Universe. A few things here and there, but again, the big crux of reveals today is going to be on the Hasbro front. Possibly those Magic the Gathering figures will go up today. Something from Hasbro is supposed to go up for pre-order tonight, but I don't know exactly what. And then tomorrow, Saturday, is Star Wars pre-orders, Marvel Legend pre-orders, and Transformer pre-orders. So uh, those Hot Wheel Transformer crossover figures will go up for pre-order tomorrow. The X-Men 97 wave will go up for pre-order tomorrow. And then I don't know what exactly, but it's supposed to be 3 Black Series figures and 3 Vintage Collection figures that go up for pre-order tomorrow. Now, I got to imagine that if they're launching a new HasLab campaign for Star Wars, that most of today's panel is going to focus on that. But I guess they'll have a couple of announcements to show off whatever is going to go up for pre-order tomorrow. And then, as I mentioned before, for G.I. Joe, those pre-orders will take place on Tuesday. And that'll be the sci-fi, the wetsuit, the Scorpion Trooper, that other Cobra Trooper they showed the render for, and Mainframe. Yep. Now, art. Everyone, their uncle does Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures these days. The GI Joe panel is not now. It starts at 11:15 Pacific time. So unless something has changed. Now Hasbro, as far as those panels go, Hasbro has talked about not they're not doing live streams from the panels, but yeah, there's nothing. But at some point during the day, and I don't know if they'll put them up at the exact same time as the panels, But like they're going to put up videos. I mean, we'll have images and everything. And again, it's not like they're streaming live from their panel, but I think they've got something they've pre-recorded for each brand that they're going to put videos up for, showing the main reveals, I guess. That's supposed to go up during the day, but it wasn't clear to me whether they're going to put those up exactly at the time that the panels are supposed to take place, or if it's or if they'll put them up afterwards. So, but yes, Hasbro on their YouTube channel are supposed to have something, some type of videos giving highlights from their panels, basically. Now, somebody like MCU Collector, if he's able to, will probably stream the panels. So you might check his, a lot of time it depends on, how good of a Wi-Fi connection those guys have. But it's possible, people attending the convention might try and live stream them. I can spell. So I just wanted to, we'll just go down this again real quick. So the times you see here are all Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, you got to add 3 hours. But G.I. Joe, oh wait, shit. Actually, I guess I got my times. How did I screw that up? All right, so Jason is right. G.I. Joe panel is going on right now. In fact, I think maybe just starting to get slides in. So you know what, guys? We are going to have to call this a wrap because I think we've got G.I. Joe news coming in now. So let me just... Yeah, so... Looks like they're going over the Snowcat right now. So nothing new has been revealed. But I got to hop off here because that's going to be happening real quick. We'll have the stuff up on TNI very quickly. So head over there, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk with you guys to go over everything that gets revealed today. All right, guys. Sorry, I screwed up the timing, but that just means you got less time to wait for new reveals. All right, guys. Stay safe out there. Be good. And until next time, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please think about hitting that subscribe button. Also, hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. For all the latest action figure news, be sure to head over to toynewseye.com, marvelousnews.com, JediInsider.com, and tformers.com. And remember, action figures are great,